Welcome everybody to the first video of this new series that we're starting, which is how to play the game for beginners or even for experienced players. You might learn some things as well. We're going to start it off here with 4 of the best beginner builds that I would suggest for any new player coming into the game who has never played this kind of game before. The reason I suggest these 4 are for ease of use, and they have a good guide which describes how to play the character and how to level them up. And let's go ahead and get started. So to start off, we're going to start off with Enki's Arc Witch, one of the best well-written guides and easiest playstyle of any of the builds I have ever played, and I suggest this build 100% over any other build just because of how easy it is to play. The beautiful part about this skill arc is that you don't need to cast it near anything. It will automatically go towards the enemies that are nearby, locks onto them, and bounces between them automatically. This is probably the most helpful for any new player coming to the game. Trying to have mouse control in this game is rather difficult because you're trying to go forwards and backwards and trying to move your character and you don't really know what's going on. The other great part about this is you get this skill relatively early on in the game. Now, his guide is so detailed it could take you an hour to be able to read over everything that you need to know about this build. But if you go to the full leveling section, the leveling build, you can click on each one of the acts and he'll tell you exactly what order you need to kill things in, when you grab certain links. So you grab Freezing Pulse and link it with Arcane Surge. It tells you every single thing you need to know while going through all of the acts and when to link them and what to link them with. What skill gems to grab, what clusters to grab. He has everything in here that you could ever imagine. You know, it's all here for you, and the guide explains it very well without making it too complicated to understand. This is vital for new players who have no idea what they're doing in this game. It can be very daunting to play this game, that's for sure. What's really nice as well is you can go into the second part of the leveling section, and down on the bottom it actually has what passives you should have at each act stage. This is very helpful. Instead of seeing the whole entire tree and saying, oh, where am I going to do with these 120 points? I don't know which direction to go. It like splits off like 3 different times. Where do I go? Well, if you go to each one of these, it's going to exactly tell you where you need to go for each single act and what your goal is to get to and why. This is why I highly recommend this build. It does a lot of damage and is super easy for new players and just allows anyone to enjoy the game, especially as a caster build. This is pretty much my league start character for the past 3 leagues. Okay, this is the Gamer Report's zombie slash skeleton mancer that will basically get you through all 10 acts, basically just running straight through everything. The great thing about a minion build is that you don't have to cast anything. The minions just follow you and kill everything that's near you. So you don't need to cast anything. This is called the lazy style play. As you can see in this video, he is literally sitting on a blighted T14, I believe at this point, doing nothing. He has no skills in his skill bar. He doesn't have to cast anything, and his zombies are going out and killing all the monsters for him, and he just sits and does nothing. This is called the AFK lazy build for a reason. You don't need to cast, you just run. When you're doing mapping, it is super easy. You just run through the entire thing. Your golems and minions and zombies will go out and kill everything while you reap the rewards of the money and all of the experience So one of the things that I really like about his build is that he has everything laid out for you for all of the points inside of Path of Building. So he has your 12 points, your 25, 43 in your first lab, your 58, 70, 87, 109. He has everything laid out for you. And not only that, he has the skill gems laid out for you as well. So at level 1 you want Raised Zombie and you want Freezing Pulse as soon as you get them. And then you know, link it with Summon Phantasm Sport. He goes all the way through all of the levels of when you get key support gems and key main skills to help you get to where you need to be by the end of the acts. And then he goes into the final end game versions to simulate the links to tell you what is going to be the most important. Now he lays them out in order of importance. Okay, so the 6th link and the 5th link are going to be the least important compared to the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th support gems. It is very, very nice, very easy, has 0 gear requirement. All of his gear is just looking for life and resistances. Everything else does not matter for this build, and you'll easily be able to do tier 3, 4, and 5 blighted maps with no problem whatsoever. That Vol Summon Skeleton, best block you could ever imagine for a blighted map. Cast it out there, monsters stop in their tracks, not able to get around them, and your minions and zombies, skeletons will destroy all of them. This is why I love this build and why I run it every single league start, so I can get to blight maps early, start selling oils while the prices are high, because everyone wants to do those quick anoints and get their characters rolling. So they're willing to pay a higher price for blighted oils if you can get there within the first 2 to 3 days. The next one is going to be Remi's Toxic Rain Pathfinder. As you can see, he's doing the Maven 10 boss fight and is able to clear them pretty dang fast. His build is very nice as well. The only thing you're really looking for is high attack speed, and the rest is basically from your tree. Makes it very easy and very, very cheap to run. It is very nice to have while you're leveling, to have on Mirage Archer, and if you can get a Quill Rain at the very beginning, which is gonna, you know, you deal no physical damage, which doesn't matter because you're dealing poison and chaos damage, your Mirage Archer is gonna just clear the map for you as you run through. So it is very, very nice. And as you can see, he's just melting all of these bosses, and he just basically has to, you know, dodge the spell effects while the chaos and poison does all its damage for him. On his guide, he has a very, very nice breakdown of what points to get at what point. He shows exactly what to do up to your 20 points, 40 points, 60 points, and all the way up to 81 points. And then he gets into further if you want to get into cluster jewels and all of that. It is very, very nice, very well laid out, explains everything you need to know. He explains all about the gear, what you should be looking for, the cheap version and the expensive version, as you can see right here. So he says here's the cheap one, the Quill Rain, which is usually pretty cheap towards the beginning of the league, and the expensive build, the +1 socket of gems, damage over time, attack speed with a multi-crafted modifiers on there as well. This is why I like this build. He has it very, very nicely laid out. He lays everything out, everything you need to know about why you should do this, which way you should be going, what you should be looking for item-wise, and lays it out as easily as possible. So this one here is Asmodeus's Arc Miner / Ball Lightning Miner. You can see that he's here using Arc Mine at the moment, but he will be using Ball Miner in just a minute. I really like this one because you don't really need any type of gear requirement to be able to do this. Yes, a Tremor Rod is very helpful, but it is not required. It is just a very helpful rod to get. It's usually pretty cheap at league start, just a couple of chaos. It has a pretty high drop rate. So it shouldn't be too difficult to get your hands on one if you can get some early on currency. It is very powerful and can get you pretty far into mapping on just any kind of crappy corrupted 6 link. And you know, it's not even required to have a 6 link and still be able to do most content in mapping areas. So it's very, very well done, pretty simple to use. And as you can see, he's using his movement skill as the detonate of the mines. So you don't actually have to detonate the mines. As long as you move, the mines will automatically detonate, which is super nice. So all you're doing is throwing out a spell, the mines automatically go towards the enemies. Especially if you're using an arc mine, it automatically targets enemies that are nearby and just obliterates everything. So here's his POB that he has for the arc mine. Again, it's down in the description down below, as well as that YouTube video. And he goes through, and basically you want to go over towards the right side first and then make your way over to the left. He does have a note section here for leveling and what to look for towards the beginning, as well as some recipes that are going to help you get some early on damage to help you out. It is very nice. So he tells exactly what you should have at what point, laying it out very, very nicely. So that sums up our 4 of the probably best beginner friendly builds that I would suggest for any new player to start playing. They are easy to play. They have pretty good guides that help them explain how to play the characters. They have pathing that allows them to show them which direction they need to go. They have very little, if no gear requirement at all to be able to be played, and you can have a lot of fun with them and learning how their playstyle is. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ding the bell for future videos. We will have a lot more in this section for beginners, and until next time guys, peace out.